I want to follow up a little bit on Mike's perspective. When you say that, I mean, coming from a business background and you've worked in other sectors, when you say that there's a lot of hope or potential in biotech and in Africa, can you expatiate on that a little bit? What gives you that assurance and made you like personally make us? I'm also aware of the risk in terms of life sciences, the timelines. What gives you still the confidence to invest in this sector?
So one of the big, as we all know, and it's quite topical right now because of the COP26 conference that is going on. One of the biggest challenges we face as a species is really climate change. And for the next sort of 20, 30 years, if we do not change the way we run our economy across the board, climate change is going to become a big problem. And, sort of extinction events, etc., are something that is very, very real. So what are we going to do? How are we going to transform our economies? Well, we're going to transform our economies with carbon reduction and renewable energy. But one of the other massive ways in which we're going to transform our economy is through biology. So we are going to be re-engineering the type of foods we eat. Factory farming is problematic from an ethical point of view, but it's also problematic from a climate point of view. The way we make our materials in this world. A lot of the industrialized world we have right now has been built on a petrochemicals foundation or a petrochemicals economy. The chemicals we use in our world, the plastics we use in the world. What we're going to be doing and what startup companies are doing in various parts of the world, they're engineering biology to get the same sorts of outcomes. I often use this example, which I think is quite inspiring. There's a company in San Francisco that are engineering to be able to produce spider silk. So silk or spider silk, it's a very, very strong material. You cannot farm spiders. They're taking yeast. They're inserting in the gene that creates the spider silk. They're brewing it in a vat, and out comes a material. Now, we're going to be using this form of recombinant protein development across the board, not only in our materials, but in our food spaces and also in our pharmaceutical spaces. So it's really the opportunity that we sit in right now. We have a massive problem in climate change. How are we going to solve that problem? And one of the ways is we're going to solve it through healthcare. But biotech is obviously not only going to impact in our materials and in our food. It's going to be impacting obviously our pharmaceuticals and the sort of our healthcare space. Maybe just to go a little bit deeper, there are three macro trends that we are benefiting on right now. For many, many years, biotech really was the domain of large pharmaceutical companies or large agricultural companies. You needed to have very long, very big balance sheets to be able to invest in the sector and take a product to market. You also needed lots of time to do it. But there are three fundamental macro trends that are changing this. First of all, the sequencing of the human gene, ability now to read the code of life, and the costs to do this are decreasing at an exponential rate, very, 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 very quickly. And then our ability to understand the code of life, artificial intelligence and machine learning are also having these exponential advances. So we now can read the code of life. We can now understand it far better. And then the third technology invention was the invention of CRISPR-Cas9. Our ability now to go in and edit the code of life. So we can read it, we can understand it, and we can edit it, which basically opens us up to be able to do lots of things in our natural world and use our natural world as a way in which we can actually produce the products and services that we need. And that for me, it is these three trends. It's the potential to do good in this world is very, very inspiring. But not only that, there's a massive market opportunity. And as Nick alluded to earlier in the conversation, we sit on lots of intellectual property in South Africa, lots of really good science, but we're not commercializing that. So we came back, both of us, to South Africa with the mission to try and help build up this ecosystem. We take a lot of inspiration from what's happening overseas. We're trying to bring some of those ideas here locally. And critically, we want to build companies, biotech builds, that are obviously African relevant, but also they need to be solving international problems.